All right, here we are. We're on the Foundation Strength podcast meeting, coaches huddle, whatever we want to call it. Uh, Episode 2. Coach Nick Thompson from Max, North Dakota, and we're here talking more PE today and how to implement the Foundation Strength and standards-based training in a physical education class, which I think is a huge area to focus on. Uh, yeah, Nick, I don't know what you know about, PE across the country, but I don't have you, do you have any buddies across the country? Do you have any resources about what the average environment is in a PE class nowadays?
So I have not buddies, but like I have people I follow on like X and stuff like that. So I see things. So like I like to base a lot of things off of like what Stewartville, Minnesota does. Garrett
Mhm.
Mueller's there, and like top to bottom, it's a whole feed the cats program. Like their time in 10-yard flies. I think his name is Alan May. He's like the PE teacher for elementary. He does a really great job. So I like to do a lot of that. And then just at the end of the day, like how can I help kids be more, I guess, athletic? Because at the end of the day, it's going to help their overall fitness
Mhm.
and like, just like cut down on injuries and stuff like that. Because like I'm just being honest, I swear some of the athletic ability of some people, it's like, oh my, you know, like I'm sure you see that too. And
Mhm.
at the same day, it's like I don't want kids to get hurt. So like we do a lot of jumping and stuff, like injury prevention things. At the end of the day, too, it's going to help their overall athleticism and health. So.
Mhm. Yeah, from what I see, it looks like the elementary level and even the middle school level, I think the organization is actually really good. But I think
Mm,
I think the reason for the organization is mostly to keep them from going absolutely bat-ass crazy, just
yes.
to keep the kids in order. It's not
Yep.
necessarily organized for greatness. It's organized for like lack of people hurting each other or whatever, you
Well,
know
and
what I mean?
lack of downtime. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is a huge goal to have, but at the same time, I feel like they could get more,
Yep.
and that's easy for me to say. I if I got thrown into an elementary PE class, my priorities might change real fast, and I go, oh crap, I just gotta
Mhm.
make sure they don't kill each other. But
Yep.
like you said, and like Garrett up in Minnesota and a few other PE coaches or PE teachers, some are doing it really well, and it's realistic. It's real life athleticism
Mhm.
training, which I think they need. I don't know if have you ever read those or even just kind of scanned through those Gopher uh,
Yep.
pamphlets or the
Yep.
the order form things, the big
Yep.
magazines.
I get one a year, and I usually throw like my oldest one away because I get like two or three a year. So yeah, I
Yeah.
look at those.
Now some of the stuff is good, but I also
Hmm.
see like it creates this environment that I don't think is real sports. If you look at any picture on one of those magazines, they're all like having fun, like that,
Hmm.
hey, everyone's having fun playing dodgeball or doing a cone drill,
Hmm.
and everyone's the teachers with two kids, and it's not really like that. And that's the part that I think PE starts to get so different from sports because I don't know if the PE world wanted to be so different. I just don't think
Hmm.
it has to be that different. I mean, if you look at the average psyche of, a young kid, I would say most boys and girls want to be like the best athlete in the class.
Hmm.
They might not want to admit it. It's not that athletes are better people necessarily, but it's a heck of a feeling when you know you got more athletic. It's a I don't know any other ticket to confidence and belief in yourself more than athleticism. So
Right.
that's what I think they're going for. And I'd like to give them more of an opportunity, like what you're doing and what Coach Mueller's doing, and the other places that are doing it that way.
Right. Well, and it just goes back to like the Tony Hall record, rank, and publish thing. Like again, I've sent you what I do, like with the standards I have for sprinting, jumping, and push-ups and all that stuff. And like they compete, and they're not like heartbroken, but they're disappointed if they don't like meet the standard and they did before, kind of a thing. So
Mhm.
like the competitive edge, I think, is there with everybody. It's just how do you like foster it, and like how
Yep.
do you bring it out? And I've found a lot of success. I just started doing that like a year ago with like having like a push up club and a speeding in a school zone and all that stuff.
Yeah, I
And I'm
love
actually
that.
gonna do more. Right, it's fun. The kids like it, and I'm actually gonna do something else. I'm actually, we have parent teacher conferences tonight, and in my downtime, I'm going to make up some signs, like speed limit signs.
Hmm.
Like the kids can take their name, and like when they are 11 miles an hour, they can put their name by that sign, and like move it throughout the gym. I saw that. I can't remember, but it was on X somewhere. So it's just something simple like that, but just a little competition things. Kids love that.
Yeah. And when you get to that point where a kid knows, all right, I might not be in first, but I did
Mm,
get to move my name three
right,
times over the last month. Like I'm doing
right,
something.
right.
And that's a heck of a lot better than sitting around or hiding from things and, playing a
Mm,
big game of dodgeball. And you say the kids
right,
got a good workout, but you missed five kids. They
right.
were hiding or they were worried or they were hesitant.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Well, and that's why I like those. It was funny, we were talking last weekend about those youth strength cards, and you pulled it up and said done, got it done, or whatever.
Yeah.
But like that, I like that too, because like I was trying to explaining to the kids, like now you can see how close you're getting to the standard. Like it's a process. Because a lot of kids are like, I've just noticed when we do like our sprints, did I get faster? Well, no, you're a little slower, and like, whatever. And sometimes they get a little faster, but they can't see how close they necessarily they can see they're close because like the time's closer to like the
Hmm.
standard, but they can't see like the levels. And like you said, it's like a video game. So I'm really excited to get it started. And even like the older kids, like I've told you, I'm gonna keep doing the weight room, but I'm gonna attach that to like their workout cards and say and like so they can cross things off as they go too and still keep, like I said, I'm kind of combining what I'm doing with the standard stuff that you're doing and see how that goes. And I don't know, I might just go straight into everything what you're doing. I don't know. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes. But like I just a little bit that we've changed. The kids have enjoyed it. The kids are getting stronger. I just had a girl set another PR today in her squat. Um, so I think it's going to be a nice little addition for sure.
Yeah. I think those levels are so important because it's almost like the psychology of um conditioning, basically like
Mm-hmm.
what like positive conditioning where you
Mm-hmm.
try to give them as many senses as you can. Like there it's one thing to say, yeah, okay, good job, you got a new record, you beat your time by
Mm-hmm.
point two hundredths of a second, whatever.
Right.
But when you also have your name and you walk over to the wall and you put it on the wall, I, I know elementary school kids get so excited about that. I mean,
Right.
anytime you get called up in front of the class or you get an honor roll,
Mm-hmm.
thing or any honor that a little kid gets, they wear it right on their face and right on their shoulders. They can't wait to be excited. Middle
Mm-hmm.
school and high school personalities, I feel like they have to roll their eyes a little bit and pretend like it's not that big a deal, but
They
they're
care.
still a little kid inside. They always care.
They care. They
Yeah.
care.
Right. So they have to look cool in front of their friends. They have to do that.
Yep.
But if you can still find a way where, secretly I did that and I
Mm.
I went through that ritual that other really good athletes went through, I
Right.
think there's something there.
Right. And then that's the other thing with the speed limit signs, and it's school wide because like what I was doing was I had different standards per like grade. Like third through sixth was like 14 miles an hour or whatever. And then
Mhm.
like when they're older, I split it up. Girls had to be like 17 or 16, like boys like 18 or whatever. I can't remember how it was. But like now it'll be school wide so they can see, well, so and so is here. I got to beat him and get there and whatever. So it's not just certain groups. It's K through 9, which I guess would be testing it. Because like when they get older, I don't have them. I might have them do it now, but I haven't had them do it. That just goes in the board in the weight room.
Mhm.
So
That's great. That's really cool. I was gonna say, oh, we were gonna talk about how to implement this
mm,
type of work into an elementary class. And
yep.
can you explain your elementary class? I know we talked about it a little bit before, but what is your time constraints and your setup? How many kids? What's
Okay.
the facility and that kind of stuff?
Okay. So on average, so I average about 50, let's say about 15 kids per class, and it's two grades together. So first and second together, third and fourth together, fifth and sixth is together. And I see them 5 days a week. Each class is allotted for 30 minutes, but in reality, it's 25 because we got to get in, get organized, we got to do a little recap at the end, so about 25 minutes. So like my question to you is, how would I implement the workout cards essentially that you have out there? And like, should I do it every single week? Should I do it every other week? Like, I still want to like. Do your youth cards have like the sprinting on there or no? Like time sprints or no?
I don't have standards for the little guys yet,
Okay.
but that could be fun. That could be really good. Um,
Well, you can. I mean, I'm no expert, but you can steal kind of what I have. I think it's a good rule of thumb, kind of where to start.
Absolutely, yeah,
'Cause I just took, I literally, like I told the kids, like I took where everyone was at and just kind of did the average a little bit, shot a little bit higher just for something to shoot for. And
yeah.
like when it comes to doing like our push up and sit up test, I've had to up that standard a couple times because I was specifically sit ups. For some reason, we're really good at sit ups here.
Hmm.
Um, I've had to up that more because then I told a kid like that's a good thing, but
Yeah.
not to get too far off topic. But yeah,
No, I
how
think
would
that's
you?
okay. I like that you move it. I think that that's so important. Like, no matter how successful any of these systems or programs are, I'm
Mm,
not a scientist. I don't know exactly where people are supposed to be. The whole point is to give them something that's slightly out of their comfort zone, that's also
right.
safe, and
Hmm.
you have a pretty good idea with your experience to say, if most of my kids could do this, I'm in
Right.
pretty good shape. I would guess that I have a very good chance to be competitive, and the
Mm.
kids would have a very good chance to be healthy, and
And
just like in education, right? When they say, which is not perfect either, but if they
yeah.
say, if they reach all these, I feel like they use different words in education, like frameworks and benchmarks and whatever.
Hmm.
If a kid reaches 80% of these, or if 80% of my students can accomplish this skill, then I know I did a pretty good job. It's the same
Right.
idea. It's just, what's harder than what we're used to, what's,
Right.
realistic as well. Um,
Hmm.
and like, do you guys ever do SMART goals? You know what SMART goals are?
Our principal has us do it at the beginning of the year, yeah, but like I've never done it with like my kids.
Yeah. But it's all the same principle behind it, right? It's specific,
Right.
measurable. I do attainable and rigorous, so it's like it's doable, but it's hard. And
Hmm.
then it has a time frame to it. So by the end of the semester, I'm going to do everything I can to get 80% of my kids at least at level 2 or something like that. So
Right.
that kind of thing, it all goes down to the same deal, how we would live our life trying to get better in nutrition or try to get in better shape ourselves, or
Hmm.
whatever habit we're trying to form. If if we don't overload ourselves in a healthy way and do more, then we can't do better.
Right.
So I think moving those standards is just fine. Like, and then you use your judgment call to get there,
Right.
to adjust it. So, no, I think you're doing some great stuff. So the first thing you said was you have 15 kids per class, and you have
Roughly. Yep.
two grades per class, which
Yep.
I freaking love that. Like I got to visit your school. Like, that is so cool. Um,
It can be chaos at times, but for the most
yeah,
part, it's fairly organized.
I thought the town I live in is small, because my son's going to graduate with 75 to 80 kids,
Oh,
and I
dude, that's
graduated with probably 180. So I'm like, oh, those are the small schools.
no,
It's
like I said, when I graduated from here, I had 13.
Yeah,
Our graduating class this year is going to have 11.
yeah,
And even like South Prairie to north of us, who's much bigger than us, like they got 40 kids
yeah.
graduate. So like that's you different out in rural North Dakota.
It's so cool, man. It's just awesome. And they must be like brothers and sisters. They must fight like brothers and sisters. And they must
Well,
love each other by the time they graduate like that too.
there's a lot of brothers and sisters, there's a lot of cousins.
Yeah.
So there's some kids obviously that moved in,
Yep.
but for the most part, like I said, I know a lot of these kids' families, and because they were either here when I was here, or they've always been here, and like my family's always been here, so it's yeah, like I said in the other podcast, it was very easy to buy in when I got back because it was like, oh, he's from here, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But you're really like, I'm trying to do my best.
Yeah. No, for sure. So the time frame with 15 kids, I think it seems very realistic to incorporate it. Then it's just a matter of not doing too much and
Yep.
letting them be kids. Like
Right.
they still want to be kids. They don't want to be robots. They don't want to be
Yes.
constantly measured, but
Yep.
some measurement once in a while, then you get both. You get the qualitative and the quantitative,
Hmm.
where if you my initial thought is if you and I were teaching that class together, I would say, hey, we're going to pick one event per day, right? You see them all 5 days, you said. So like
Yes.
we're going to pick one event per day, and that's going to either, that's going to kick off the class. Everybody gets two 10-yard flies, and then whatever time we have left, we're hitting this. And the good thing is, especially if they like more of the games, then
Mm.
then there's a motivation to say, hey, the faster and more organized we are when we get our times, then the more time we have for more free time. And
Right.
that's huge. I would definitely recommend doing more of the measurable stuff early, and
Mm.
then whatever time, hey, we get more time for dessert. You know what I mean? It's like if you eat your
Right.
vegetables, you get dessert. But they probably like it anyway. But I would
Yep.
definitely say if you had some rotation of um, trying to hit something at the beginning every day, make it almost like the warm up. The warm up is the workout, and that's a Dan John thing, and I'll mention him
Mm.
every time. But the warm up can be the workout, especially when they're that young. I don't think they need 20 minutes of stretching like I do. It's
No.
that
No. And
that
like,
that got a little blown out of proportion, I think. How
right.
much they need to
Well, and
warm up.
like, I'll explain quick how I do my classes because that, like, everyone's structured. So, like, it's like a 5 minute warm up, normally
Mhm.
it's quick, like a tag game. Sometimes we do like speed drills,
Yeah.
high knees, A skip, whatever, because they still got to develop that stuff. So it's normally something to get them moving. And then I usually a lot for like 10 minutes. This is just elementary. 10 minutes for like fitness components like aerobic fitness, muscular endurance. We used to do a lot of like yoga, standing, flexibility stuff, but it's like I don't know how well that actually
Yeah.
there's been a lot of things out there was like this is really good for you. Some say it's really bad. I've kind of cut it out and I haven't noticed much of a difference. So I don't
Yeah.
really plan to go back to it. Plus, like I would do it in stations, there'll be a lot of messing around. So I've kind of cut that out. And we also talk about like nutrition. So that's like our big three. It's aerobic fitness, muscular endurance, and then nutrition.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking about doing, so I like what you're saying. What I was thinking about doing, because I'm actually looking at the youth cards right now. So you got 5 categories. And like I said, I like all of them. They're very good. And like it's very doable for a lot of the kids. I think maybe what I would do is do like my quick tag warm up.
Hmm.
And like this could be like my muscular endurance focus, because it is.
Hmm.
Because even if it's like power and explosive stuff like the broad jump, it's still measuring how like your muscular endurance a little bit. Um, So I think that would probably be like my second thing, and then I could still do like my skill development at the end.
Hmm.
So do you think I should do this every single week, or should I do it like every 2 weeks, kind of a thing?
I mean, I know that's the thing is you have it so short. I
Yeah,
mean, I would say I think just knowing all the crazy little kids that I've ever worked with, I would
yeah,
say if you know you're doing it for a week and then kind of get maybe flip the order the next week and
okay,
and leave 10 minutes at the end if they want to switch to it. And then you can get a guide, you get some guides from them where, okay, week one, we are definitely doing it. We're starting the class with 10 minutes of, hey, we got to get everybody two 10-yard flies today. And then the second week is we're going to hit our warm up, then we're going skills at the 10-minute mark at the end. Um, we're going to have the choice. And maybe it might be a vote, which that gets insane. But
yeah,
what I would maybe do is rotate through with um, who gets to choose what they're
okay,
doing. So, hey, it's Johnny's choice today at 10 minutes left. He gets to pick. So if he really needs to hit his 10-yard fly or his broad jump that day, right? If Monday's a
mm,
broad jump day and Tuesday's a 10-yard fly day, if
right,
it's one of his biggest needs, that could be a thing where it's still not the whole class. You're still getting all your skill stuff in, and you gave
okay,
that kid some leadership to make that decision. And they're kids, so there might always be a couple, oh, come on. But
right,
you made a choice. When you start having them vote and talk and tell stories and stuff, I mean,
Mm.
the minutes start flying by. And,
Yep.
Johnny, you're my assistant coach today. What are we doing the last 10 minutes? Are we continuing, another skill for basketball, or are we doing our broad jumps today? Boom, broad jump, done. Decision made. Like, and then then they get that built-in lesson of you don't always get what you want. Other people get to choose. You don't always get to pick.
Right.
We gotta get the team better.
Right. Okay. Because that's sort of how I've been doing it. Like I said, I do the 10-yard flies, 25-yard dash. Some classes do like a 20-yard dash. I try to rotate that every month.
Hmm.
They do it every beginning, like the first week of every month. That's when they do it. And then like I said, I got the push up um, test and stuff built in there as well. There's a week we do that. One day it's just max push ups, and then a couple days later do max sit ups. And I had a max squat one, but there were some kids that were doing like 200 squats. I was like, okay, like this takes too much time.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I cut that one,
yeah.
So, okay. So I think, let me see if you like this idea. So I'll do like week one. I'll probably leave it kind of how I have like structured, where I do like feed the cat stations, which is like running form, sprinting form, power, and there's also like plyos. So like it will go like, it goes feed the cats, and then like Tuesday would be a 10-yard fly. Wednesday is like feed the cats again, or maybe plyos. Thursday, another sprint, and then Friday we do stations again. Okay, so that'd be like week one of the month.
Yep.
Then week two, I would do probably like the youth strength cards like you have. You know,
Yeah.
that would be that week to do it. But yet it's hard for me because like I do like doing a bunch of like exercise stations too. Like they do like lunges and they do like push-ups, but like even the older kids are kind of progressing a little bit into like a little bit of weightlifting, lightweight squats and stuff like that. So I like doing that. But what I could do is make like the foundation, like that could be like the challenge, I guess, at the end. Like we could treat my like exercise stations as like that's like the muscular endurance for the day, right?
Mhm.
But like obviously you have a little bit of common sense. Like when they're doing like broad jump, what I've done when I test broad jumps and test verticals, I do like a circuit, but I make broad jump a station.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
it's like it's mostly like upper body, but there's like one little like light like practicing their lunge, whatever. And I've tested it. It does not make them tired. A lot of kids have actually PR. So I
Yeah.
would probably incorporate that day, and then like trying to think how to do this, like with the push and the pull and the squat, like
Hmm.
the wall sit. Again, I like those. I just trying to think how to situate it in. I could do the wall sit as like instead of doing actual squats, like wall sits the station.
Yeah.
You
And it
know.
seems like, I mean, not to cut you off, but it seems like you have, before you and I started talking, you seem to have three, four, five main things that you like to test,
Mm,
correct? And then adding in the things that I put on
yep.
the youth card, right? The elementary card, what do we have? We have farmer walks, plank, wall sit,
Yep.
long jump, and what was the last one?
They're hanging from the pull
Yeah,
bar.
the pull. Yeah, exactly. So like if you didn't have those before, then I would just say you go on 2 week cycles, right? Keep measuring the things that you like and
Mm,
and then make that homework, right? Where it's not homework, but you start encouraging those kids like if there's something that you're very weak at or there's something that you really like, test these things at home so you can come back. Like it's not your responsibility in a half hour period to to be the only one that's ever having them practice that. Like if they're
right.
going home and they're sitting on their screens for 5 hours, even at that age, it's like, guys, practice it so that the next time we test it, I can't wait to get you up in front of everybody and say how great you did. And
Right.
so I wouldn't pressure yourself too much, like I wouldn't overthink it so much like that. But so maybe it's in little 2 week cycles. So
Mm,
um and then maybe there's who knows in that 2 weeks maybe the Friday of week two is, dealer's choice. You pick a kid and whatever their
right.
biggest need is, that's what you test extra. Or
Right.
anytime you want, you just pick what you want.
Right.
And anytime you need to lift the floor, if there's an event that they're struggling in, whether it's one that you already measured or it's one that you and I have been kind of talking about,
Mm,
you'll know the glaring red flags. And it's like, hey guys,
right.
let's hammer away on that because whatever our weakest one is, that's the one we're most likely to get a PR in, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, so if you talk, I'm nerding out a little bit, but like the principle of diminishing returns, if
Yep.
if you stink at something, you're way more likely to get a PR in it. The better
Right.
you are at it, more the increments get smaller.
Right. Okay. Okay. So I think I know I'm gonna incorporate it now.
Mhm.
Like, because again, they like the testing that we're doing. Like they especially like the sprinting stuff because they ask when are we sprinting? It's like guys, it's once a month.
Yeah.
But like and but like the broad jump one's simple because I
Mhm.
already do that. It's just a matter of actually giving them the levels. And then like the buddy carry thing, I think they're gonna like that. And
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the safest way, probably just do like piggyback rides.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
still, they're still carrying someone.
Hmm.
So that's good. And then I was already thinking about how to make the pull up safer because like our pull up bars are like crepes are 8 feet probably in the air.
Yeah.
So I got to I'm gonna put a bench, and that way they can, or I have some tall pile boxes and
Yep.
stuff. At the very least, what I could do, I just thought of this: set up our uh, weightlifting bars
Hmm.
at the rack, and then they just got to bring they're still hanging, but they're not
That's
going to
all we
fall.
do. Yeah. We
You
just
know,
put the J hooks lower.
right? Yeah, they're not going to fall. So,
Nope.
and then like they do a bunch of planks and they do like wall sits. So I think a lot of this stuff is going to be actually now that I'm thinking about it more, it's going to be pretty easy for me to implement. Like I said, I like the growing and the standards and the levels and stuff. And like once you're able to get the speed stuff too, I think they're gonna like that because we do a lot of that. So
Yeah. Well, why don't we wrap there for this part, and then we can just hit the next one if you're around and just keep going.
yep,
But I think that's a
I've got
pretty
till 12:20, so you're good.
okay, perfect. Yeah. So why don't we trim that one, and I'll just kind of end this and say that closes out episode 2 of our Foundation Strength Coaches Huddle, and some pretty good ideas on elementary PE right there from Nick, and there's no perfect way to do it, but I think just holding ourselves to a higher standard and say, hey, they are ready for a little bit of measurement. They are ready for some things that are quantitative, because not every kid's going to get the success of I'm really good at this. They need to see that they're getting good,
Mm,
through measuring some things. I don't want to turn any kid into a little robot, but there is something to be said about going back to the drawing board, keeping things simple, and measuring some things for those kids that might not have the same success. So, and it sets those other kids up for the more successful kids for the long run in middle school and high school. So
mm.
yeah, that'll close it out. If you're interested in any of this stuff, if any of this applies to you in your PE classes, uh, check out foundation-strength.com. How am I saying that? Wow. Foundation-strength.com, or email me at CoachJackByrne@gmail.com. And Nick, you want to give your Twitter and whatever else accounts you want?
So Twitter is just at PE_Mr. T. All that's underscore actually almost got hacked yesterday. Um, so that's my Twitter on X, and then I guess you want to email me at school. It'd be capital N Nick.Thompson, capital T at K12.nd.us.
All right, excellent. All right, well, that does it for this one, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.